What did you like most about being a judge?
It was a great seat for the game. The process is wonderful. The moments of a case passing through the system is so clean and supported and of value.
You were called upon and to use your reverence for process to go to the traffic court and clean that court up in the wake of Operation Greylord. I'm thinking...
Most fun I ever had.
Tell me about that.
It was a terrible disgrace that we experienced in our court. Well, it was a few people in the numbers. They didn't understand that they had to change everything. They couldn't go at it the same way or we'd be right back where we began. And I understood that. I was able to start all over again with a fresh group of people. And when I got to traffic court, we were at the point where there was an election for new associate judges in the circuit court. They were new to the business, and they were taught that the way they should proceed is like a judge is supposed to proceed, which is to call the case, hear the evidence, and make a decision based upon that, and the law and the facts based upon that evidence. People would say, well, we don't have enough time to do that. We discovered that the court could deal with that if it had the proper use of a diversion program to hear all the cases. And this great group of judges went out and did it.
And you took some of those changes back to the criminal courts, right, after your time in traffic court?
Right. Well, we, for a year or so, had trial courts operate not only during the day but into the night. The cases that were disposed of were cases that were ripe for people who had low amounts of criminality in their crime, whether the amount of controlled substance was considered. There were cases that involved an amount of cocaine or heroin that was minuscule. And the question was, to me, well, are we getting the best use of our limited resources? And is it a fair thing to do or to have this diversion program at night? And I think it was, because it reduced the caseload in the criminal court enough to keep going, and gave us a chance to do it the right way. And it was the Fitz's 13 that came back. Many of them came back and began their criminal judicial careers when we went into the night court, and they disposed a lot of cases. One of the judges to the diversion program at the night court was Judge John Brady. And John went to this seminar and came to me and he said, he said, I'm a smoker, and that's legal. And but it's addictive, an addictive substance matter, and it's no different than in many places where it's the drug itself is maybe given a disposition that wasn't really necessary in that case. And John came to me and he said, I'm going to quit smoking because I don't think that it would be anything but a fraud if I was convicting people of the same action that they were, and I am. So I'm going to quit smoking before I put anybody in jail.
And did he?
And he did. And immediately that day.
What achievement do you think you will be most remembered for?
I suspect it'll be as presiding judge at the impeachment trial.
Oh, the impeachment trial. Tell me about that experience.
Well, it was, again, remarkable to be involved in the process. The impeachment trial was one that went with a failure of the governor to attend. That was his choice. It was again, a sense of history involved in that case like any other that I've ever been involved in or ever will be involved in. I hope it's something that we remember individually so that we don't repeat it. I think that the Senate always doesn't get accolades, but in this one they certainly deserved them. They went about that process with great seriousness, proceeded with civility, and were struck with the seriousness of the business that was involved. It was a historic event, and one that will top anything else I do. I know that.
And what accomplishment as a Supreme Court justice or as the chief do you look to that gives you the most source of pride?
Well, I and my colleagues worked very hard on civility. And as you know, Bob Thomas was so involved in the operation of the commission. It was a terrific thing the court did in accepting the concept of having a administrative arm of that particular organization that has become so well used at this time.
I would have to agree with you on
I
that.
figured you would.
Yes. I know you have spoken to young lawyers, new law students, about the importance of civility or professionalism.
Over the years, I've talked about a experience I had when I was teaching. One of those students had been really out of line and something that he did one day in class. Tom the next day said to the students, I want to tell you a story about Walter Payton. Every time he ever ran with the ball that he was hit, after the whistle was blown, would jump up and offer his hand to the man that he had just knocked to the ground and help him up. And that respect is what a professional does.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Did the student get it?
No, but I think a lot of other people did.
Do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to pass along to younger lawyers?
Understand that you have a responsibility to the process to get the matters decided cleanly and with adherence to the rules and with honesty and with pride. I think if you are a lawyer, you're joining a profession which includes at its top of its list Abraham Lincoln. And he was a pretty good lawyer and a pretty good Illinois lawyer. And I think that it's just great to be able to be the professional colleague of Abraham Lincoln.